So my regulator is a little off because I've used a brad nail, so I'm going to turn it up to about 100. I usually keep mine right around 100. That looks like 100. Alright, give me a second. Let me get this air line back in. That's how let me put this up here. Alright. Oh. Alright. Oh, I'm going to go get one of my old guns to set my air pressure. Probably won't shoot. Alright, go put brads in there, piece of crap. I don't even know if it works anymore. It's been so long since I used this one. It only shoots like inch nails. It don't shoot long stuff. So at 100 on the regulator, comes back up to 100. So that's the way I test it. And if you look right there, it was still set. So this gun, I usually try to set all mine for 100. So shooting in the pine, it's set almost perfectly flush, which that's what that was set for way back when. So I use 100, try to keep it right around 100 pounds of pressure. Now the brad nailer don't shoot as well as the finish nailer. So this is a stud in your wall. This will probably be one of the hardest pieces you got to go through. So like I said, my regulator is set at 100. This is a piece of old trim I had. These are 2-inch brad nails, or 2-inch finish nails of the 16 gauge. That's how you put them in. Slide them down like that, and then you release it. Not to get your fingers. Yep, went in. So I always try to avoid the edges. Not a lot of room in here, but anyway, I always try to avoid right up close. Always maybe an inch back or so, 2 inches. But what I'll do is I'll pop one in here. Okay, so if you look, it's almost like a double whammy. So that was just a little too much power. So move that around there like that, and then turn it this away, turn it backwards, and then yep, it needs just a little more air off of it. There. So see, it leaves just a small, very small divot. So that's the way that I set mine. So you can also use this to adjust so your plunger does not come down as far. You can just screw it one way or the other. I just like using this the most to regulate how hard it hits in my regulator. So if you go to the right, it's less. If you go to the left, it makes more pressure. So just a quick little video how I set mine up for to shoot finish nails. Now this here is what they call the brad nailer, and I'll put a nail in this real quick, get it up here in a thicker. And if you look, this did not go all the way in. So turn it up and then put another one in. And that one's just barely flush. So if you turn it just a little more, see, that just, there's not enough power on the regulator here to get it to set below on this one. So this is where you turn your pressure regulator up on your compressor. I go up to about there. That's about 110. Give it another shot. And that was all it took. And now, so this one was up high. This one was just about smooth with the surface, and this one's a little high. That one's a little high, and then this one is just below the surface. There's no, I mean, I could adjust it a little more, put a little more poundage on the regulator, and that would go down like these do. And that's the thing, you know, you just got to keep trying till you get it set where it ain't doing too much damage and it's setting where you need it. So one of these was the original nail gun, or the old nail gun. Oh, I shot that into the 2x4, but anyway, you got to make sure that the 2x4 will be your hardest part that you're shooting through. So I don't know if you'll have paneling, chipboard. I have chipboard on my wall that's painted because it was cheaper. I also do have a section of paneling, but there's chipboard, sheetrock, I mean any number of things. You just got to adjust it for each end, what you're using on your wall. So, and this just old piece of door trim. I have two different types there. I figured this would be the harder one to shoot nails through. But it just, how you regulate it on your regulator, you got each gun is different. So I usually set mine right around the tank, right around 100 on the regulated on the hose pressure, unless I know different on my guns. And then I do most of my adjusting up here on the top. So that's how I adjust my pressure. And then I'll shoot on a test piece, scrap piece, usually in a place that don't matter, because that lid don't like me today. Okay, smart. Alright, so let's run over this again. So you use a test piece, you use it in a place that is not going to be seen a lot. I don't know how, around a closet or hallway, just somewhere where it ain't seen a lot. And you do your test piece there, you know, and if you fire a nail, you adjust, fire a nail, adjust till you get it right. And then you keep paying attention, because like if you go from sheetrock to a paneling or something, you might have to adjust it a little less, might have to adjust it to a little more. It just it depends on where you're shooting, what it's hitting. Like I said, you more than likely you got a bottom plate on your wall. So when you're nailing, let's just act like this is, all right. So you got a bottom plate on your wall, and you also have studs that go up this way. So what I usually try to do is hit the bottom and hit the bottom plate when I'm nailing in my baseboard. When I'm doing trim, like on a window, your window has always got you got a stud, you got a cripple, and you're always going to be hitting the 2x4 plus whatever your wall covering is. So it's all about just a little bit of trial and error. You got to adjust it where they hit just right and go the depth you need them without doing too much damage. Stay away from the very edges. Try to stay closer to the center as possible, and stay away from the ends. So I hope this was informative, helped you figure out how to set the regulated pressure on your air tank and your guns. And John was the one that asked the question, so I come out and I made a real quick video for it, and I'm going to post it so he'll be able to see it, how I done it. And hope you guys are doing something you enjoy. Always like trying to help people. Makes me feel a little better. I enjoy this. You guys, like I said, if you ever have any questions or you got a comment on something I do, if I do it wrong, because I've been known to make mistakes and say stuff wrong, and it's just my experience that I've done and learn how to do this stuff, and it seems to work for me. It may not work for you, but I'll give you all the information I can that I know. If you like my videos, please subscribe. I mean, it'll help me out, and eventually, at some point. And I love doing this. It just takes up a lot of my time. You know, I'm getting nothing for it yet, and probably won't for a while. But like I said, I'll try to help you guys any way I can if I know what I'm doing. There'll be some things that I probably don't, and you just have to look at a different video. And I won't steer you wrong. If I don't know and don't have the experience, then I'll tell you, look somewhere else, and I might even be able to find somebody that knows about it better than I do. So, like I said, if you like it, share it, subscribe. I appreciate it, and we'll see you on the next one. Thanks.